What's up, guys? Today is May the 20th. It is Wednesday. This is math class. All right, so yesterday I assigned you 6 problems, and today I will assign you 6 more. But I also want to talk about how yesterday I gave you 2 different strategies on how to add fractions, all right, or subtract fractions. It's the same for adding and subtracting. The 2 ways that I gave you, the 2 strategies are: you can either multiply the 2 denominators and get a larger number. And if you do that, in order to reduce that larger number, you must use the LCM, the lowest common multiple. If you use the strategy that I prefer, which is to figure out what is the greatest common factor and keep the numbers smaller, then you still have to use the ladder method. So what I'm getting at is that whether you used whichever strategy you prefer, you really got to use the ladder method to be able to complete the problem. Because if you're the person who thinks it's easier to just multiply the 2 denominators, that's fine, but you still got to follow through then and apply the lowest common multiple to that larger number to be able to reduce it down, all right? Because we definitely got to start learning how to reduce fractions down to their lowest form, all right? So I really encourage you to continue to watch the video or go get additional support on the internet on how to use the ladder method to find both the greatest common factor and the lowest common multiple so that you can do these problems effectively, all right? So let's jump into the answers from the first 2 problems that I assigned you yesterday. All right, here we go. Okay, guys, we're going to go over the answers from yesterday. So here are those answers. As you can see, I'm trying to adjust that a bit. You can see that I did not give you the work for the bottom 4, but we're going to go over the top 2. Okay, so let's start off with 3/4 plus 1/16. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out what is the greatest common factor that we can turn our denominator into, because we need to make sure that our denominator is the same so that we can add them up. And right now they are different. All right. So what we're going to do is use the ladder method that we discussed, and we're going to take the 2 denominators here and here, and we're going to put them in our ladder. Okay. So what is the smallest number that is prime that can go into 4 and 16? Again, that is 2. Typically, every time that there are 2 even numbers, you can expect that your smallest prime number is going to be 2. All right, so 2 divided by 4 equals 2. 2 divided by 4 equals 2, and 2 divided by 16 equals 8. So again, we take our ladder, and once again, we have 2 even numbers, which means our smallest prime number is going to be 2 again. 2 can go into 2 1 time, and 2 can go into 8 4 times. Okay, so that is as small as we can get it. Okay, because we cannot turn this into a prime number by dividing 1 into it. All right, so this is as small as we can get. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take, first of all, in order to get our lowest common factor, we're going to say 2 times 2, okay, and that equals 4. But for the purposes of this problem, the more important thing to do is take all of the outside numbers. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 1 is still 4, times 4 is 16. And that tells us that 16 is our greatest common factor. So what that means is that both of our new denominators, our equivalent fraction denominators, are both going to have 16 as their as their denominators. All right, so that takes us to how do we figure out how to turn this into 16? Well, in order to do that, we're going to multiply or figure out how many times this number can go into here. So we're going to multiply it by 4, because 4 can go into 16 4 times. So we multiply 4 by 4, all right? And then because we did that to the bottom, we must also do it to the top. So we're also going to multiply 3 by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, see how we did that? So we figured out that 4 goes into 16 4 times. So we multiplied that by 4, and then we multiplied this by 4, the top, bottom and the top, both by 4. All right, and let me see if I can get the better angle there for you. There you go. So now we're going to figure out a pretty easy problem here, because how many times does 16 go into 16? That would be 1 time. Okay, so we multiply 1 on the bottom, which means we also have to multiply 1 on the top. 1 times 1 is 1. So this is going to give us a total of 13 sixteenths. And that is actually reduced. Sorry about that. That is actually reduced as far as it can go. 13 sixteenths. So 13 sixteenths is the answer to 3/4 plus 1/16. Okay? So let's do the other problem quickly. All right. All right. So our next problem, as you can see here, so we just figured out that this one's 13 sixteenths. 13 sixteenths. We have 2/5 plus 1/10. All right. So we're going to write 2/5 plus 1/10. All right. Now we have to figure out what is our GCF. Okay, our greatest common factor. And to do that, we're going to use our ladder method. So we're going to put our 5 and our 10 inside of our ladder. And then now, the smallest prime number that can go into 5 and 10, in this case, is not 2, because 2 cannot evenly go into 5. It's also not 3, because 3 cannot evenly go into 5 or 10. Okay, it's not, 4 is not a prime number. 5 is a prime number. Aha. So 5 is actually the answer. All right. So, oops, that's supposed to be this way. There we go. All right. So 5 can go into 5 once, and 5 can go into 10 twice. And we are actually done. Okay. Because now we have a prime number on the outside, the smallest prime numbers possible. And so what we're going to do to get our GCF is we're going to multiply those. 5 times 1 is 5, times 2 is 10. Our GCF is 10, and our LCM is 5. Okay? So, now we're going to make sure that both of our new denominators, our equivalent fraction denominators, are both 10. In order to get to 10, we're going to have to multiply. We have to figure out how many times can 5 go into 10, or what times 5 equals 10, and that answer is, of course, 2. So 5 times 2 equals 10, and because we multiplied the bottom by 2, we must also multiply the top by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, 10 goes into 10 one time, so 1 times 10 is 10. We're going to multiply this by 1 again, because we did the same thing to the top as we did to the bottom. 1 times 1 is 1. That's going to give us 5/10. Okay? And if we divide both of this number here by the LCM, okay, if we divide both by 5, that's going to give us 1/2, because 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. And anytime, oh, sorry about that. Let me show you that again. I'm sorry. We took the LCM here, and we divided the bottom and the top by the LCM, so by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So anytime that you have a number that's not fully reduced, you can always divide it by the lowest common multiple to be able to reduce it all the way down. So the answer is 1/2. However, if you got 5/10, I would accept that, but I would really prefer that you guys really start understanding the importance of reducing fractions all the way down. All right, so our final answer for 2/5 plus 1/10 equals 1/2. Whoops, that's terrible. 1/2. Okay, so those are your answers for today's problems. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some new problems here. All right. so here are your 6 new problems. So get ready to pause so that you can make sure you get these written down and show your work, please, when you are turning this stuff in. All right, so number 1 is going to be 2/5 plus 3/15. All right, number 2 is going to be 7/8 plus 8/24. Okay, number 3 is going to be 3/9 plus 2/27. All right, number 4 is going to be 6/7 plus 3/21. Okay, and number 4 is going to be 7/9 plus 8/18. And our last problem will be 6/11 plus 2. Let's go 2. Let's make it too hard for you guys. 2/10. All right, so that one's going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones, as you guys will see. All right, so there are your problems. I'll divide them up so it makes it easy to figure out what's what. Okay, go ahead and pause and write down your problems, and we'll go over them tomorrow. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Keep working this. Keep using your ladder method. If you don't know the ladder method, you got to Google it, all right? And Google what the ladder method has to do with the GCF, the greatest common factor, and that will help you so much in figuring out how to find the denominator on the bottom that is the same. All right? So we'll see you guys tomorrow.